All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm really excited about this one. I love the title. From Cookies to Cars, How Brands Are Getting Metaverse-ready. And I have the pleasure to introduce our speaker, Raffaella Camara. And she is the head of brands and advertising solutions, Epic Games, the Unreal Engine. And one of the things I just love about her bio, and again, a wonderful person I've had the pleasure of working with her, is that she's also a trained concert pianist, as well as an award-winning content creator. Now, as a part of the XR practice and serving as the global head of innovation and strategy, she is responsible for shaping the VR and AR offerings, ideating and creating transformative content and scalable XR solutions, as well as managing strategic ecosystems, partnerships with technology providers and content creators, and shaping the messaging and positioning for their XR practice. So let's give her a warm welcome for her talk.
Thank you so much. That was what I used to do at Accenture XR, but I'll reintroduce myself. Don't worry about it. That was a job prior. Happy afternoon, everyone. My name is Raffaella Camara. I'm the head of brands and advertiser solutions for Epic Games Unreal Engine. So it is my job to form the most powerful collaborations with brands, with advertising agencies, but also with the consumer tech companies to help build towards an open metaverse. And in fact, if you were here yesterday during Qualcomm's presentation, you might have seen me on stage. We were announcing a partnership to help creators build for AR glasses. But while most of you, if not all of you, know who Epic Games is, and a couple of slides are similar to what you've seen yesterday, but I still wanted to take a minute or two to explain who we are. Often people only think that we do part of what we do, so for us this is important. So first off, we've been around for 30 years, longer than many remember, and our goal is one and is very clear. We want to help all creators build towards an open metaverse. So we are not a tools company, we're not a gaming company, nor we are a licensing company. We are an ecosystem company. In that sense, we are unique because we have many of the pieces needed to build an open metaverse. So we have the tools with Unreal Engine and the suite of creator tools to build and create high-fidelity 3D assets and experiences. We have the services to create and connect virtual worlds with Epic Online Services and our participation to open standard consortiums. We also have the marketplaces and the asset libraries with Unreal Engine Marketplace, Sketchfab, ArtStation, and Quixel. We have social experiences with more than 500 million players and billions of connections with Fortnite, Fortnite Creative, Rocket League, many others, and obviously the Epic Games Store. And finally, we have an incredible community of creators that we support every day with our Epic Mega Grants, but also with fellowships and by providing them with the same exact engine we use every day for our games, free to download with open source code. So yes, the metaverse that everybody talked about. We don't define the metaverse. We don't think it's possible to define what the metaverse is, or at least it's too early to do so. But we like to think of it as a 3D version of the internet, much more interactive and much more social, where people have the chance to create their own persona and change it based on their ever-changing sense of identity. So just like the internet, really no one will own it, but we will all help create it, including brands. So while we don't define it, we do think that there are some tenets that we live by and we think the metaverse should live by. And those are openness. We believe that people should be able to move and share freely across experiences, and that means that open standards, open source code tools, and open libraries are necessary in order to be able to build and share 3D experiences at scale. Persistency, nothing ever stays the same. Everything constantly changes depending on the interactions, and so there is a different way of really interacting with experiences. Social, the level of social interaction between the internet and the metaverse is completely different. And really social interactions between users or players or people shape the narrative of whatever is happening in a specific experience. So even branded interactions need to account for that. They need to be much more intimate, and they need to account for this constantly changing kind of like narrative or storyline. Entertaining. If the content is not entertaining, there is no interaction. Users don't perform the action, they don't interact with each other, and nothing happens. So entertainment in the sense of fun, like a game, or a sport event, but also something that could be a social cause or anything that's near and dear to their heart. And finally, agency. People need to be able to change their persona, modify it, maintain it based on how they see themselves and what they want to do. So then how do we help creators in that sense? Well, we help creators by providing tools that are accessible, as easy to use as we can make them, so that creators really can build at the speed of their imagination. So at the heart of it all, there is Unreal Engine, which is the engine that we developed and showcased in 1998 for the first time for the game Unreal. And it's the same engine that we've been using ever since for our own games, and that's also what we provide to creators. Around that, also a library of millions of high-fidelity assets that can be downloaded together with Unreal Engine. We also have tools for high-end captures with Capture in Reality, Twinmotion that allows us to import CAD scans and create gorgeous high-fidelity environments. And finally, MetaHuman Creator, being able to create digital humans down from sometimes weeks that it would take to less than an hour with an unprecedented level of realism and precision. So then what are the advantages of using Unreal Engine and really of using real-time production? I'll go through this quickly, and then I just would like to show you some examples. First off, production efficiency. Certainly an increase in production efficiency in the sense of reducing the production workflow, and also with virtual production, the ability to shoot anywhere, anytime from the comfort of just one virtual stage. The level of collaboration and creativity and really experimentation has never been seen before. Now you can have any team member, from a creative to a writer to a developer, a producer, or even a client, participate and modify the storyline during any phase of nonlinear production, something that's never been done before. The high-fidelity nature of assets and experiences provides that level of realism that is needed to strike that emotional chord that I was talking about. That leads to an authentic interaction, which in turn hopefully leads to a try-on or a try-out of an item or a product, and finally, hopefully, an automatically led type of purchase. And finally, really being metaverse-ready. What we're striving to do is to help companies, brands, create a library of high-end, high-fidelity assets and experiences that then can be reused anywhere, internally, for anything like R&D, product design, concept design, manufacturing even, training, externally, advertising, marketing, but also human-machine interfaces, configurators, and also across any platform, from web to mobile to VR and to AR glasses evermore. So now, looking at some examples, there are 3 of them, not too many. Oreo, this is really an example of increase in production efficiency for ad campaigns. Oreo is a global brand, and so with that, they have to cater to multiple cultures, which means different languages and different tastes. So they have a myriad of different packaging variations with different, with different languages and whatever the flavor might be. So when creating or shooting a commercial, it can become pretty daunting. Either you have to shoot multiple times and swap it every time, or you have to treat that commercial later. Using Unreal Engine, MediaMonks was able to just swap out the asset, reduce the amount of time that it took to do the production of the entire ad, while retaining the same level of fidelity, reflections, and lighting. And then they were able to reuse the same assets for a social media campaign. So let's look at a quick video. And next is a completely different industry, automotive. Real-time technology is really changing the way that cars are being designed, built, and sold. And Unreal Engine, in particular, is the go-to platform for the car industry because of the level of precision and realism and high fidelity that it provides, so that when digital twins of vehicles are created, they have that, they can become that one single source of truth asset that can be reused across the entire spectrum of activities, from a concept design, from manufacturing, from marketing, configurators, even to train autonomous vehicles. So in this specific case, Ferrari used Unreal Engine to recreate a perfect digital twin replica of the 296 GTB down to the stitches, perfect. And then reuse that same asset across the entire universe that Ferrari has, and wherever they touch upon a consumer, from the web to a web-based configurator, using it against a virtual backdrop for a virtual production shoot. And also, we help them bring it directly into Fortnite, where players were able to drive it and play with it while they were in the game. So let's look at this for a second. And finally, this is really the story of physical meets virtual, a story in which consumers were able to connect with a brand, try out, in this case, clothing, and finally shop transmedia. It's a story of a natural partnership between two innovators, Balenciaga on one side, innovating by bringing technology into design and fashion, and Unreal Engine and Epic really concentrating on building a metaverse that is inclusive and rooted in social entertainment and digital self-expression. So the partnership started with the Unreal Engine, with Balenciaga using it to create a storyline to showcase the fall 2021 collection. It then moved into Fortnite Creative, and in the major squares of different cities across the world. So first off, Unreal Engine was used to create the storyline of, it's a love story that takes place in the future. All the scenes, all the scenery, all the clothing were created using Unreal Engine, and even the models were true models, true Balenciaga models, scanned volumetrically and then turned into digital humans with our MetaHuman creator. Keep in mind, this was done months ago, so it was a really, really, really early release of MetaHuman creator that looks fantastically even better now. So let's take a very quick look. I played just a little part of it. Continues, but it's pretty long, so I'll stop it here. We then helped recreate 4 outfits and accessories meticulously, and we brought them into Fortnite, where players could use them as skins. We also helped create a virtual Balenciaga store in Fortnite Creative, together with virtual 3D billboards, where you could see the collection appearing. And finally, we took those same assets and we built 3D billboards that were placed in 4 major cities: London, New York, Seoul, and Tokyo. And at the same time, the items were available for purchase in Balenciaga stores and online, in their stores online. And I would like to close with a quick nod to our upcoming Unreal Engine 5, and even more so to the amazing work that our community of creators has already done with the early release of the engine. So let's take a look. And that is it. Thank you. Anyone has any questions for me or not? If you would like to come to the mic, I am told that's the way to do it.
Hi, Raffaella. This is Jo Scholz, marketing professor. I love the examples, especially like the Ferrari and the Balenciaga. Like this is more like consumer facing and less production oriented. The question I have, like, does this also work for brands that have less of a luxury presence, or like that are less luxury brands, maybe that are like newer brands that don't have as much of a brand value already? So how does it work like for like more like the average brand maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you look at the brands like CPG, for example, there is an incredible need. I think the more and more we move into a 3D type of world, the assets, the products have to look as realistic as possible. So the high fidelity nature of the assets, the need is the same for all, even for packages of cereal. If the lighting and the shadows are not correct, they look a little bit fake. And so it's difficult to take them even into something like a website or anything else that's in any case digital. So yes, the answer would be yes.
But just like if I was, for example, Gap, right? I mean, like Gap is like a very known brand. Would Gap be similar successful in Fortnite, marketing in Fortnite, than
Yeah,
Balenciaga?
Fortnite is a little bit of a different story for us. Fortnite is, think of it almost as our baby. It's our story, our storyline. So sometimes we bring in brands that we think might make sense because there is a kind of like a natural interaction between not only the players and the brand, but also us as companies. We see innovation the same way, we see inclusivity the same way, and so that's very often how it happens. In addition to that, you might have noticed we also have something called Fortnite Creative, and more we're trying to open that up to make sure that brands of any kind, and really creators of any kind, can create by themselves using a Unreal Engine or Unreal Engine-based tools into Fortnite Creative and really create their presence there. So it's really, sometimes if you just look at Fortnite, it's really a choice based on that specific property and not anything else.
Great, thank you.
Sure, thank you. And the questions have to be simple, otherwise I won't take them.
Feel free to defer on this one. So great job on the MetaHumans. I think that's great. Just curious what Unreal is doing or Epic is doing in terms of animating or helping to animate or autonomously animate these characters. You talked about tools for creators. Anything that you can talk about in terms of like maybe infusing AI or making it super simple to animate these CGI characters?
Yeah, I think we're trying to make them as comprehensive as possible. So anything that you might need to do with them. I think what's interesting is to remember how the MetaHumans came about, and it's really, they come from gaming. The need to add high fidelity humans into a game, and then from there, in a way, sometimes we are the guinea pigs. We find out what does not work for us or what else we need, and then that gets added on, and then we pass on those tools directly to other creators. So making sure that not only they're realistic, but the expressions are realistic, that maybe the movement is realistic, or the clothing move in a certain way or reflect light in a certain way, so that they look as realistic as possible, including adding AI and all that. So we'll try to add as much technology into it as possible and make it simple to use. Otherwise, it becomes a very restricted type of, only very few creators will be able to use them. Anything else?
Any other questions? I had one too. With the example that you had with Balenciaga, are you seeing that more and more brands are looking to extend their campaigns by amplifying it with like out-of-home media or XR ads? And I don't know if you can share maybe any of like the return from that investment. Did they see like a brand lift? Was there any kind of conversion metrics that you can maybe share, or, at a top level even?
Yeah, as far as numbers from the brand, no, we cannot share anything there. But I think it was very interesting to see how. The most interesting part, at least for me, for that specific case study, is how it went from digital to physical. It was really embedded not only with the billboards and the 3D billboards. In a way, no one expects to see something that's 3D on something a little bit more old-fashioned, like a billboard in a square. But seeing that sometimes can be even more powerful than seeing it on a screen, because you're not expected and because you're already used to it. It's part of your history of how you grew up. Then bringing it into commerce and being able to buy those items that were broken into a virtual environment, a gaming environment, and then in the streets, I think it's particularly powerful, and generally speaking, I think is what we're trying to see and experiment as to what is the metaverse. It's supposed to be this blend of real world and virtual world, and how does it come together? And we don't have the answer, but at least we're trying different things. Sometimes we find partners that are particularly open and innovative in trying things, and certainly we like working with them because we are the same, and so we are testing on the go, basically. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of is brands wanting to create digital items and digital items for sale. And I'm sure you all have seen that, and the news are out every day, but there is more and more of that. But this was almost blending traditional with the newest form of digital. Anything else? All right, thank you so much.